What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. I've got a little bit of a cold, so hopefully my voice will carry me through this video here. Nothing too bad, but yeah, if I sound a little bit different, I have a cold. In this video I'm gonna talk about a subject that is dear to my heart, the Electric Wind Godfist. A lot of people want some information on how to counter the move properly, and this is more going to go towards those of you who are maybe in green to yellow ranks, where you face Mishimas who have just learned to do the electric and they just can't get enough of it. They do it all the time, and I'm quite the same. It's just one of those moves where as soon as you master it, you just want to do it all the time, and it's so much fun clipping people with it. But yes, before I really get into it, I want to give you guys a brief history of the strength of the move. The electric has always been very strong, but something interesting actually happened in Tekken 6 where the move was weakened. In Tekken 6 and games after that, the electric, when it connects on people, recovers very quickly. So you can do it in very quick succession. But when it whiffs, it is way more sluggish. Way more sluggish. And this did not used to be the case, actually. In Tekken 5, including its expansion, Tekken 5 DR, and previous games, it would recover just as quickly on whiff as it did when it hit the opponent. So whiff punishing the electric in older Tekken games is incredibly difficult. It's not like it's super easy these days, but it used to be near on impossible to do. So that's important to know. And then also, of course, the move is, I would say, better than ever due to the new tracking. You've always been able to sidewalk the electric. If you step towards your left shoulder, you could always step it. Really nice. But then something happened in Tekken 7 Season 2, and that was a universal change to the electric among all Mishimas. Suddenly, it has a lot of tracking to both sides, making the move very unreliable when it comes to trying to sidewalk it. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this in detail towards the end of this video, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of, well, pretty much how the electric has evolved from game to game. And yes, trying to sidestep the electric these days is very unreliable. And a good Mishima player knows how to mix up the electric, but those of you in light blue ranks, green ranks, yellow ranks, orange ranks, you will encounter a lot of Mishimas who just throw it pretty nilly-willy carelessly, and it will be much easier to punish. But so, what is the best way to try and counter the electric? Let's see, now I have a player who likes to backdash away and then throw electrics like this. This is very classic. I like to do this myself. And if he is very obvious in what he's doing, using a move that has a lot of high crush and forward momentum is a very good idea. So as the move is such a good keep out, you want a move that has forward momentum and high crush properties. So a lot of slide moves are incredibly useful in this situation. And with Zafina, down 3 certainly does the job. It is a really good get-in move on electric spamming players. So, for example, with Kazuya himself, a lot of people don't know this, but not the Hell Dancer. Full crouch, down for 3+4, the forward roll, which can be done from a crouch dash, is a great move to get in on another Mishima player. Really good. So you have to find your character's move that has these properties. Not all characters have this, by the way. But using such moves is also a great way of getting into Mishimas, because their keep out is mostly the electric. The electric is high. They don't have hop kicks. Kazuya doesn't really have anything super threatening here. Devil Jin can up 4, obviously. But what Kazuya can do to counter this sort of stuff is pretty much up for free. It's just, or down for 2 to try and clip you, but that also can be crushed by a lot of lows. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually crushed a down for 2. But so I just want to stress the importance of this. It's a really good thing to do versus Mishimas. And another thing you can do is, of course, just try and make it whiff and whiff punish. And due to the aforementioned sluggishness, on the electric these days, it's not super hard to do this. But it's of course also not super easy, especially if you play online with lag. The electric can be very hard to deal with. But just know that it is easier than you think. Try and get a read on the Mishima you're facing, and if he does stuff like this, the classic double electric to try and catch you running in, try and space him properly, have it whiff, and then launch him. Zafina is really good here because her down for 2 has, as you can see, incredible range. So it's very suitable, you know, for this situation here. Of course, ducking versus this type of Mishima player is always also a good idea. Especially from far away, because a lot of Mishimas have trouble properly spacing in with a good wave dash or dash into a forward 3. So ducking from pretty far away is good against a lot of Mishima players. And if you can spot the whiff in time, probably not go for while standing 2, it's so slow. So I'll just do while standing 1-2. Again, with lag, it's gonna be a nightmare, but it is probably easier than you think to get this whiff punish if you're very, very aware when you play, as you should always be. What is my opponent doing? Is he gonna electric spam? Try and duck, and if you see that electric punish, obviously much harder with lag. But we're also gonna take a look at the sidestep. And this is where you have to understand that sidestepping the electric, especially when you're standing far away and they are dashing into it or waving into it, it will have a lot of tracking. I would not recommend, and I even see really strong players do this. When you are a couple of meters or yards away from Kazuya or a Mishima, don't expect to sidestep the electric when he dashes in. Because it will have incredible amounts of tracking. Yeah, you know, just trying to sidestep it. I'm sidewalking left here. Oh, that was too early. That was proper. It's just... So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that from that range, don't attempt to sidestep the electric. Try and backdash it, duck it, whatever, the options I mentioned before. Down free, whatever. It has much less tracking if you're standing right next to Kazuya, and this is where you can actually expect to get a sidestep on him and pretty much all of his 50-50. You see? Still not super easy, of course. But as you can see, it actually works. Whereas if I'm attempting this from this range, it is next to impossible. It is so hard if he dashes. So what I'm trying to demonstrate with this is that if you're in this range, don't sidewalk this character. Or if you sidewalk into a duck. But again, you're taking a big risk because he can be doing a while running free. He can be running into a 50-50. But if you're standing right next to him, you can reasonably expect to get a sidewalk on the electric. But again, like, it is hard. So yeah, season 2, the buff on the electric was a huge deal, especially for Kazuya, who was always so weak to people sidestepping towards their left shoulder. So that completely changed the character and the matchup. So yeah, I hope these tips help you out. It's not easy, especially online. It can be very frustrating, but most Kazuyas are actually kind of obvious in how they use this move. So try and get a good read, be very aware. Why did I do a gun? I don't know. Try and stay very aware as always on what your opponent is doing. Try and get a read. Obviously, this is the best option if your character has something similar, but also the move is more sluggish than you think on recovery, on whiff, duck, or backdash. Helps a lot. If you're going to try and sidestep the move, do it from close. Never attempt from this range to sidestep it. I see a lot of good players do this even, and don't do it. So that's it for this video. I hope it was slightly enlightening at least, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a lovely day. And I'll see you on the next one, hopefully. Take care.